Hey guys, welcome to Ben Wrenchin. My name is Ben, and today I'm wrenching on my 2008 Infiniti FX35. I've been doing some quality of life improvements, and the one that I'm going to show you today has to do with the driver door. So the problem I'm having is when you open the door catch, which is right there, is not catching the door. So it should catch it about here and allow the door to be propped open a little bit. And it is not catching there. So I'm going to show you how to fix that for free. I've got another video on how to fix a problem that I have with the power windows going up, and then it'll come back down a little bit. So you can fix that as well for free while you've got the door panel off. So it's a good idea to check that one out too. I will link it up top, and I would definitely recommend doing both of those at the same time if you have the same problems. But I will go ahead and get into fixing this door catch. So I'll start with showing you how to take off the door panel, and we will go from there. It's just got 3 screws, and we're going to pop this silver piece off. There's 2 screws under here and 1 more screw back behind the door handle. So this silver piece has got a notch right there that you can get under to pry it out. So I'm going to use this trim removal tool. I'll link this in the description. It comes in a pack, and they're real cheap, but these are great for a lot of things. This one fits right in that notch, so I can just use that to pry this open. And I'll do the same on the bottom. And there we go. That was easy enough. With that off, we've got access to these screws. There's one inside there, and there's another one inside there on the bottom. So I've just got those 2 screws and then one behind this little cover here. I can use this to get that off too. There we go. So we'll take those 3 screws out and get this door panel off. All 3 of these are Phillips screws. I'm using a PH2 screwdriver. Alright, there's one. So I loosened that screw, and to get it out, I was going to stick my magnetic extension in there, but it just won't fit. So something I did was get something smaller that's telescopic, like this little mirror. And I stuck a neodymium magnet on it, so you can get a small pack. This is a pack of 100 magnets. They're different sizes. I'll link that in the description too. But I just stuck one of those magnets on the end of this mirror, and I will use that to get this screw out. So I'll do the same for this one. Alright, so I got that one out the same way. And with all 3 of those screws out, now I just need to pry on this door panel in between the door and the panel. I can stick this trim tool in there and pry it out. So the easiest place to get under it is right here. I'm able to get this up under there and just pry it right out. Best to use a plastic tool because it won't scratch anything and it shouldn't break any of the plastic. But we're just popping all of the plastic fasteners along here until we've got it all the way loose. So now that I've got enough of them popped, I can get my hand under there. I'm just going to go around and pop all of them out, and it should be able to flex out quite a bit once you get all of them. And the only thing holding it now is up here at the top. So now that I've got all these loose, the only thing holding it on is the top right here. We just have to lift it up to pull this door panel off. And there we go. So the first thing I need to do is pop off this window control. There we go. And I'll disconnect that connector. It's got this push connector here. I'm going to push that in and pull this connector out. I still haven't found a great tool to get stuff like this out when you can't use your hands to get it. I do have these pliers that I got somewhere along the way. They've got one flat end and one pointed end. So I usually use these. I will try these to get that connector off, and I will link these pliers in the description if I can find these. I think they're for eyeglass repair. They're probably pretty expensive because they're kind of a custom tool, but anything you can get to get around this and grab that pin will work. Not really going to be able to do it with one hand, but this is how I'm getting it. Alright, so those worked. That is all you have to do is push this tab right here and it'll pop out. And same thing with this other one, it's just got that push tab. that you push down and pull it out. So I use the pliers for these two. This connector, I just had to push in this tab here and pull it out. So now that we've got that off, we can pull up this door panel. It's got an electrical connector up here. I think there's going to be another one for these seat memory buttons. There are some connections on the door handle that we'll have to take off as well. I don't know how well I'll be able to film all that, but I'm going to get all those disconnected. Alright, there we go. There were quite a few connectors on there. So the first one that I got was this top one. It goes right in here. I use these same pliers and I just pinched this down and pulled it out. Next there was this one here. It was plugged in right here, so it's got that tab there on the top. And for that one I just stuck this trim tool in there, pulled this tab back and popped it out. This top one with the pin going down, that was in the door handle. I had to pop this plastic piece out of its housing and then rotate this until it would pull right out. Same thing with this one, pop this plastic piece out of the little notch that it was in and then rotate it until you can get this ball out. The last one was this tiny connector here on the bottom of the door. So I rehung the top of the panel on there, came underneath, pulled it open a little bit, and I was able to just pull this tab with my hand and pop it out. So that was the last one. Kind of a lot of connections. I wasn't expecting all that, but I did get the door panel off. Next I'm going to work on this door check. These are 10mm bolts. There's one here, and there are two more on the back side of it. We'll just have to take the speaker off to get to it. It's got three 10mm bolts on it, so we'll get that speaker out and get that door check out. If you need a 10mm socket and you don't have a socket set, I will recommend this 54-piece set. I got it at Walmart for $13. It's not the best socket set, but it definitely has everything you need if you want to get started with wrenching on your vehicles. So there's some things I don't like about this set. One of them is that it only goes up to 13mm. You're going to need sockets larger than 13mm if you do very much on your cars. But this one's good for little jobs like this. So like I said, if you don't have a set, this would be a good one to get. I'll see if I can find it on Walmart's website and link it in the description. So we'll take these three bolts off. One there, one here, and one here. These bolts also have Phillips head notches in the top of them. So you may be able to use a Phillips screwdriver to get these off. They felt pretty tight, so I don't know if a screwdriver would loosen these up enough. But if you don't have sockets, that's an option too. Looks like they're bigger than PH2 because my screwdriver is camming out of these. So I'm going to try to be careful not to strip those out, but I would definitely recommend a 10mm socket to take these off. Alright, so with all three of those out, we can take the speaker off. I heard that this speaker is magnetic, so I don't know that we need to disconnect that electrical connection. So now that's out of the way. So it's caught right here at the top, and that's because it's got this little pin that sticks in this hole here. So now that we've got this off, we can just stick it up here because it is magnetic. So we'll just put it right here so that it's out of the way. There we go. Now it's out of the way. I'm not really sure why that's magnetic. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments if you guys know why they made the back of that magnetic. But that gives us access in this hole. Up there you can see the back of the door catch. So we're gonna have to take all the screws off and then we'll slide it out through that hole right there. But I just wanted to show you what the back of that looks like. So this door catch has one bolt there and then two bolts on this side, on the inside of the door. So we will use our 10mm socket and take all three of those off. One good thing about this set is it has a little extension that'll help out with something like this where you can't quite get in there. And it also comes with a driver with a 1/4-inch drive bit to put the sockets on, so it basically makes them nut drivers. So I use that to get this bolt out the rest of the way. Alright, so same thing with these two. I'll just take these two off. Alright, got the top one out. For the last one, I'm just holding this door catch through that hole on the back side, and that makes it a little bit easier to finish getting this last bolt off. There we go. So with all three of those bolts out, I've got my hand through this side of it, and I'm holding on to this door catch, and I'll just slide it through right here. And there we go. With this door catch out, what we're after is inside of here. So we're going to take this cover off. It's got these metal prongs wrapped around it, so we're just going to pry those off, and we'll be able to take that cover off. I'm going to use a set of pliers. I got these pliers on Temu for like $8, so I will try to find a link for those and link it in the description. But I'm just going to grab these and try to pry them back. Just like that. Until you pry them back far enough that you can get under here. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. There we go. And one more. There we go, so that looks pretty good. I think I should be able to get under it now and pop this off. Alright, with that separated, this is what we're looking at inside here. We've got these little rubber bushings, and what I was going to do, someone has already done. So what you're looking at is these pieces of rubber in here. They've got this line across them, and what you can do is take them out and flip them sideways and put them back in. And then you're going to have the side without the line on it facing out. So someone has already flipped one of these. So I'm going to see if I can get this one out and flip it. I've heard that you can only do one, you can't do both. But since mine is pretty loose, I'm wondering if I can't go ahead and take this one out and flip it as well. So I'm going to try that, but this is what it should look like when it's done. You'll have one with the line on it like it's normally in there, and one with the flat side that is just a little bit wider, and that's going to give it some more push to grab onto this catch. So the first thing I'm going to try is a little flat blade screwdriver. I'm just going to stick it in this side here and see if I can pry this out. There we go. So now that I've got this out, the idea is you put it sideways and stick it in there like this, and that'll give it some more tension. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that because the other side's already done, but we'll see if we can push this in there and get that in there. A little help from the screwdriver. Alright, so I will keep fighting with this and see if I can stuff this rubber piece back in there sideways and get it down far enough to get this cover back on. Looks like it might go though. Another tool I can use is this pick, this 90-degree pick. See if I can get in there and wedge this rubber underneath this side. So I am able to get this in there with this flat blade screwdriver. I'm just pushing it in like this and stuffing it in there on this side, and then I'll do the same on the other side. So that looks pretty good. I'll try the same the other way. I'm going to push down with this screwdriver and just stuff it in there. All right, there we go. It doesn't look the best, but it is flush. So I am going to be able to get this cover back on. If your door is loose, you can do this with one of them. And once it starts to get loose again, you can flip the other one. Took some finesse and some finagling to get it in there, but I got it in there. So that's good news. So I'll get this put back together, get these tabs bent back around this side of the cover, and we'll get it back in. I'm going to try to bend these tabs back out so that when I curl them back over, they'll go over the cover. So I'm just going to get underneath them and then pry them out. I'm going to try to do that to all four. This one's bent up pretty bad from the last time somebody was in here. I don't remember doing this before, but it may have been me. So I'll see if I can get this one bent out. I don't think I'm going to be able to get under there. So we may just have to go with 3 of them. So I'll do the same with this side. Just pry these tabs out as much as I can. All right, let's see how that looks. I think that side looks pretty good. And this side. All right, so I've got these 2 tabs over this side of the cover on this side, and then I've got this one tab that once I bend it back, it'll hold on to. So this one's bent too bad. It got crushed, and now I can't get under it to pry it back open. But hopefully 3 out of 4 will hold it on. So I'll use these pliers and just pull these tabs back over the cover. And then I can open them up and pinch it down even better. There we go. Do the same for this side. All right, so I bent those tabs around, and now I'll just squeeze both of them with these pliers and just kind of tighten them down on top of that cover. All right, so there we go. All 3 that I can get are around that cover, and it's got a little bit of a gap because of that one. But now that it's back together, I'm not going to mess with it. It's good enough. And I will get it back in there. To get it back in there, I'm just going to slide it through this hole and stick it through the opening. And I'll go ahead and put this one in first. And just start that screw, but don't tighten it down. And next I'll do these other 2 screws on the side here. Alright, so I've got one started. And I'll do the same with the other. Just get it started. So I'm going to tighten these down first. With these 2 tight, I can get this one tight now. Alright, there we go. So I got all 3 of these tight. Now I can put the speaker back. Speaker's only going to go one way. This electrical connector is going to go up where the wire is coming from. So it's going to go on like that, with these holes matching up these holes. And don't forget that plastic notch is going to go through that hole. So I'll put that through first and put everything into place. Put these bolts back in. Tighten these back down. Alright, and the speaker's back in. Now that everything's done under the door panel, we can go ahead and get that back on. You want to make sure anything that you disconnected under there is reconnected. So we did get the speaker back on. It's tight, so that's good. Door catch is tight. So we're good to put this panel back on and reconnect all these connectors. So you just want to make sure you know everything that you connected. We'll wait and do this window switch last. So we'll leave this disconnected and just feed this through the hole in the door panel. So I'm going to pick up the door panel and hold it up here while I attach these, and probably as many of these as I can. The only one that I may have to have the door panel hanging on there is for this bottom one. That one was pretty difficult to get to. So I'll do that and reconnect everything. One thing to check before you put this door panel back on is all of these plastic fasteners. Make sure all these are here and they're not broken. The reason I say that is because I'm missing one and it's stuck inside the door, so I'm going to need to take that off and replace it before I try to put this back on. This one here broke off when I took the door off, so I'll just need to pop that out. Alright, so I got that one out. I used my cutters and got behind it and pulled it out. I tried this tool too, but that couldn't get enough leverage, so I ended up just cutting it off. Piece of it fell down on the door, so now that's going to be there till the end of time. But that's okay. We can put a new one on there. I've got a set of fasteners, and I'll just put a new one on that door panel. So you just want to make sure none of those got stuck in there before you put the panel back on. And the rest of them are good. So I just need to replace one of these for right there. And I've got this set of fasteners. So I'll find one that's close to this and get it in over there. I'll link this set in the description as well, but that one's gonna do it. So I'll stick that in here, and that's all I needed to do there. Looks like maybe it was me in here before, because the original ones are orange and someone replaced it with a plastic one that looks eerily similar to the one that I just put on there. So maybe it was me inside this door before. Also, I just noticed there is a light right in here. So while you've got this door panel off, maybe a good idea to go ahead and replace that light. I'll find that and link it in the description. Just in case you're wondering, that's the back where the door handle and door lock go into. Yeah, so you can see on the top of those, that's where the one with the pin goes, and the one with the ball goes right there for the door lock. So that's what that looks like. And this is what these look like. So that one goes in the top, and that one goes in the bottom. I'll try to get the best shot of all this as I can as I put this door panel back on. So I'm going to start with this bottom connector. It just pops right in here for the light. All this is going to go through this hole here for the window switch. So the other thing that I have is this connector that's going to go in here, and this connector that's going to go in right here. That one in. And the white one in. So now I've got left is the door latch and the door lock. It's pretty difficult to do while I'm holding this camera, but the ball just goes down in there, and then this plastic piece goes in there. And same with the door latch. And pop the plastic piece in there. Alright, so now that those are connected, I'm going to reconnect gray wire here, and then everything will be connected. Alright, sorry for the poor camera work, but I can pull these two through here and just make sure that that's sticking out. I'm also looking inside these holes to make sure that the screw holes line up, and I can see where the screws are going to go to make sure that that's all lined up before I push this door panel in. And like I said, make sure that this is coming through and it's not pinched or anything. So all that looks good. I'll go ahead and put these 3 screws back. So I'm going to do the screws first just to make sure I can get them started before I push all this in. So I'm putting the screw on the screwdriver first, and then just feeding it inside that hole as I look in there, and try to keep it on the screwdriver and just feed it straight back. And there we go. So I got all 3 of those in there, And I'll tighten them all down, and then I'll push in the plastic fasteners, and the door panel will be good. So all those are tight. Now I'll just push this panel in until those fasteners click. All right, and that should be good. So now I will reconnect the window switch. And pop it back into place. I'm going to double check and make sure these screws are tight before I pop this panel back on. So now I can pop this panel back in. There we go. Got that back on. And the last thing is the little plastic piece that goes over this screw. Pop that back in. And we're done. So everything looks good. It's all back in place. Fix the door catch. All right, so we are done with the door catch. It is catching where it's supposed to, which is great. I've already tried it out on my driveway, and it will hold the door open even on the incline of my driveway. So I'm happy with the fix, especially because it's free. So like I said, you'll definitely want to check out my other video on how to fix the power window feature. If you have that problem or suspect you might have it soon, I would go ahead and do that too while you take this door panel off. It's free as well. But that is it for today. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe for more content on my Infiniti FX35. And I will see you guys in the next video.